Good evening and welcome to the Monday Agenda. The Monday Agenda today has very interesting, not only topic, but individuals with me whom I will be doing the interview, and they will introduce themselves as well as tell us a little bit of what they do. But the focus on the program today is on the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And with me are the young people who are advocating, promoting against any harmful practices, activities, all this stuff, so that we one day live to see the better world for everybody, especially young girls. Very welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe to start, let's introduce ourselves and a bit of what we do.
Okay.
Yes.
My name is Beatrice Ndongo. I am a public relations and branding expert in East Africa. I brand celebrities, politicians, as well as corporates. And I've been doing this for a long time, including campaigns like the one that we're doing now. So I work with in the branding side of business.
Okay.
Yes.
Beatrice, welcome to the Monday
Thank you so much.
Yes.
My name is Janet John from Binti Makani Foundation as a founder and the executive director. As Binti Makani, we are doing on the issue of advocacy on the issue of GBV, and we advocate against harmful practices like early marriages and child marriage. We are doing in universities and out of the universities, also in the primary and the secondary schools.
Wow. Great. Yes.
Hello, my name is Delisha Manika. I am the Tanzanian coordinator and the founder of the Girl Up Tanzania Girl Up campaign that is based on the United Nations Foundation. And I'm also the Commonwealth Youth Climate Change Network contact point for Tanzania in the gender aspect. I organize and I facilitate clubs in Tanzania and serve as a leader to organize things that are related to gender-based violence and empower women and young girls into becoming future leaders.
My name is Malkia Said, known as Malkis. I'm a child abuse survivor. As well, I have an organization called Datompia. Basically deals with gender-based violences and mental health as well. As a child abuse survivor, I have the right motivation to actually join the campaign, and I am happy to be here with these beautiful people. Thank you.
Thank you, Malkiz. We will learn a lot more from you during the next 45 minutes. But to start, Janet John, founder and executive director of Binti Makani Foundation. Tell us a little bit about the 16 days of activism in relation to what we are going to discuss in the next 45 minutes.
Okay, thank you. 16 days of activism. This is a global movement which started in 1991 by the women from Center of Women Leadership Institute. The aim of 16 days is to eliminate about gender-based violence. It's because of increasing of gender-based violence to women and girls. So the movement was adopted and initiated to most of countries worldwide, and the campaign was started 25th November to 10 December at the aim of come together as a country, as the world to come up with the same agenda on how we can end gender-based violence in our areas. That's why we come here and here to discuss on how we still continue to eliminate about gender-based violence in different areas. As you see here, we are youth from different areas, from different organizations. We are all eliminating about gender-based violence. So as we can come together as team, as women, as men, to end gender-based violence, to live in the world where everyone can enjoy his or her human rights.
Thank you so much, Janet. You said the 16 days of activism commenced on the 25th of November and they come to an end on the 10th of December. It's interesting that I just noticed on the program that I'm the only man sitting amongst beautiful young girls.
Yes.
In the campaigns that you're all running. Maybe Delicia, you can respond to that. The campaigns that you're running, what is the role of a man?
Okay, so in addition to the Girl Up campaign, we are also supporters of the He for She campaign, which is under the UN Women. And He for She is a campaign that brings together men to become allies to support and empower women. So I believe that gender inequality is about men harnessing women with power. So men have the role to sort of acknowledge the fact that they can stand as a person and stand as a people together with women to empower them and to fill in the gaps where they lack the resources or the ability to speak. And as we know, the United Nations 2030 goals is to ensure that everyone is counted. So men can really serve as a voice and enhance the rights of women.
Beatrice,
Yes.
why do we need men to empower women?
Let's start with equality. We all say that we have to be equal. Obviously, we know that, of course, men have more responsibility, but we have come to a space in our lives, or that rather, years have come where women are also almost equal to men. So why men, yeah, you ask? It is important, of course, for men to support our cause. But she has already stated that there's a campaign called He for She. And the campaign, as we know, one of the people who is supporting this campaign is the Honorable President Mwinyi in Zanzibar. He's one of the people who's supporting this campaign because he supports women as well. So it shows that women right now, whether in power, whether in leadership, whether in school, their voices are now being heard. Because you can now see that even in government, we can see that the numbers are rising in terms of the leaders who are in government right now. The numbers are rising in terms of the people who are CEOs or business owners right now. The numbers are rising in terms of people who can speak up. Right now, ladies and women can speak up because we have the support of men, you know, in such campaigns as He for She, because they understand that right now it's time for women to get empowered. Because a long time ago, we were not empowered that much, that we know, especially in Africa. It's very evident that in Africa we were not. But right now, with the help, of course, of men, we cannot do it alone. Nobody can do it alone. With the help of men and supporting us in such initiatives, then we are able to say, okay, now we are equal or even close to being equal. You see? Yes.
Okay, excellent, Beatrice. Maybe Malkis, when you introduced yourself, you said you're a survivor to GBV. Okay, so I'm sure my viewers are curious. What happened? How did it happen? Did it happen here in our soils? Did it happen when you're in school?
Yeah.
So that I'm sure you have a compelling story to tell and a message that you bear with you.
Yeah. So, I got molested with a very close family member, a relative, and it has actually affected me. You know, it has affected my childhood. It has affected my adulthood until the campaigns that have been going on all over the world. When I came across the campaigns, and I realized that okay, so whatever happened to me was a problem. So thanks to 16 days activism campaigns and all over the Binti Makani Foundation and all of the NGOs that are actually dealing with gender-based violence, because the awareness they're actually bringing out is what actually helped me to realize that was a problem. And so as an activist as well, I know that the abuse actually affects and it leaves scars. So coming to GBV, and it's all about the mental health, because the perpetrators are as well going through something. You know, that's why it's been said abuse leaves generations to generations. You get abused and you just become an abuser.
Okay.
You see an abusive parent to men who actually beats their wives, right? They come up from a family, from backgrounds that have been actually seen
the incidents happening, you know. So as a kid, as a boy, he comes out to be an abuser because he has been seeing that all the time.
Yeah.
You know, father beats a mother. He becomes an abuser because it lives generation to generation.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and I think even to add on that, what you've said is how will we make sure that in the next 5 years it will stop? I don't think it will ever stop because GBV is divided into so many things. There's rape. There is even sexual abuse in terms of even in the office. Someone can touch you inappropriately. There are so many different types of GBV that you have to research so that you know that this is supposed to work like this, is supposed to work like this. So we can't say that it will end in the next 5 years, but we can say that we can do campaigns to make sure people get to understand and know the different types of GBV so that they can be aware of what should be done and what should not be done.
So that we can phase it out.
Yes,
So it can
exactly.
end. It can end.
can end, but here's the thing.
I don't think it can
it's
end.
no,
Because as Malkia said, the abuser also, the other person, the person who does that
Perpetrator
also has maybe mental issues, mental illness. There's a reason why someone comes and rapes you. There's a reason why someone comes and touches you inappropriately, both to men and women, because it happens to both. I can't say it's only women, but also men. So there's a point in which everyone has to be talked to, and we can't say that it will end because mental illness never ends.
Yeah.
You never know what someone is going through. So in the next 5 years, you can say that in 5 years, mental illness is going to stop. Because it all starts with mental health, isn't it? It all starts with mental health. So that someone comes and does something inappropriate to you, like raping you, like touching you badly, like, you know, doing such things. The only thing that we can do is to make sure that children get to know that this is bad.
Yeah.
When uncle comes and touches you like this, it is bad. When someone comes and does this, this is bad. So that they can be able to speak out. Because right now, the problem is, especially in Tanzania, in many African countries, children cannot speak out. Case in point, Malkia. She was not able to speak out until she was, you know, later on in her life. And I know it happens to a lot of people. Speaking out is very difficult because when a child comes and speaks out and tells maybe the parent, hey, you know what, mom, uncle is touching me like this, or auntie is touching me like this, most times they do not believe it, and they try to cover it up because it's family issues. They tell you, hey, no, you know, leave, you know, they will not believe you. So the most important thing to end this is from the time people are young, to make sure that the children are able to speak out when something happens and not wait until you're older so that you can remember, oh my gosh, I was touched like this. So this was bad. So it's supposed to start when you're young.
And
Case in point with Malkia.
Survivors needs to really speak out if they really want to, you know, to at least, you know, get a balance of all this, you know. So survivors need to really speak out, because when I did, for the past 5 years, when I did speak out, I have so many people coming out to me with different cases, with the same case, different stories, you know.
And when they come to you, let's connect that before we go to Janet onto some of the interventions that they do. So when they come to you and they narrate their cases genuinely from their heart. I've been involved in a number of these cases as well as just God-fearing person myself. But when they come to you and they seek guidance, can you take us through that process or that route?
Yeah. So when they come to me, this is why the organization is there, Dr. Umpia, because I, as an individual, you know, I know that I cannot help everybody, you know. But if the organization is there, that means people can come in and partner, or, you know, just collaborate, and then psychologists, you know, God-fearing men like you were actually advocating for GBV, so you'd come in and then we could help all these people together. This is why the organization is there. Because when they come to me, I take them to people, psychologists, and I talk to them as well. I give them time, I give them an ear.
So right now you have the Capital TV and you have the viewers giving you their most undivided attention. There are people who have been victimized watching the program, and they would really wish to hear that message, that word you want to tell them. Those who are still hiding in the shelves, in the closet, that you want them to come out because?
Okay. I'll say I've been... I've been a victim for a very long time, but I don't consider myself that no more, because I've been speaking out. So speaking is healing. If anybody out there is going through that, because as I said, when you're victimized, it leaves a scar. So anything small can just trigger and trips you right back to where the hassle, the confusion, the depression, the trauma. So I am here, and I can listen, and we can help each other to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they can just contact us.
Excellent. Janet, in Binti Makani Foundation, you did say that, you're campaigning against GBV, but also advocating against harmful practices and the stuff such as early marriages, early pregnancies, etc., etc. In the process of advocating against early pregnancies, for instance, and we've seen Tanzania currently is, bringing back the students who had conceived when they were in school to go back into the mainstream education and pursue their dreams, ndoto mpya. What do you do in terms of how do you run the campaigns for the young girls and boys as well, to understand that, early engagement into sexual practices is actually harmful and could be detrimental to their future plans?
Okay, what we are doing as a Binti Makani, first we focused on universities. As we know that girls from different universities, they come from different backgrounds. So we decided to connect our efforts so as when we back to our communities, we can be as a role model to advocates on the issue of early marriages and early pregnancies, to tell them that it is possible for a girl to be at schools and reach at university level. We are doing that. Also, we are doing on the issue of sexual reproductive health education. As we know that young girls are involving in sexual issues at the early age. Sometimes they're forced by their parents. Sometimes the environment which surrounding them, it's a problem. So what we are doing is to advocate, to create awareness to the children themselves, also to the parents. As we face a lot of challenges when we try to focus. This is sometimes tradition and custom in our areas, where most of the parents they don't trust a girl to continue his or her studies. For instance, in Tanga and Lindi, when we reached there, they said that in Swahili, msichana ni nyanya mbovu, ikikaa sana itaoza. So they don't trust them to go to school. They fear that when they continue with the studies, maybe they come up with pregnancies and so on. So we faced a lot of challenges when we tried to challenge the traditional customers. Sometimes communities come up and say that you are here to teach our children not to get married at the early age. Hence we advise them to get married at the early age, because we fear that when they continue with their studies, they brought us challenges, a lot of challenges, for instance, those early pregnancies. So we faced a lot of challenges, but we still continue to eliminate them, to use a lot of techniques so as they can understand it. And we appreciate the communities. When we started in 2017, till now we help them to reach at the university level. I can take an example from myself. The community I raised, it's where the girls studied. They were not given a chance to go to school.
Okay, which is this community? Where did you grow up? Oh, Tanga. Okay.
Yeah, some areas in Tanga. So 2017, I was the first girl to reach at the university level. So I said that I can use my education to eliminate my communities and my other areas so as to see a girl child should reach what she's supposed to be.
Okay.
So I tried my best. That's why I decided to connect girls from different universities. We reached 25 universities. We are working with the 25 universities member students from different areas, different universities in Tanzania. So as I taught them, I create awareness. I mentor them how they can deal with their challenges from different areas they came from. So I think we reach the area and we see some communities come together and try to see, wow, girls are supposed to reach at the level other girls were reached, as in Makini we reached.
Thank you so much. Delicia Monica, Janet substantively said that you deal with secondary schools, but you also do primary, if I understand. Do you also do, Delicia, do you also do?
A lot of struggle.
With the struggle, yes. Do you also do, Delicia, I want to ask Delicia, as a gender justice advocate, do you have interventions only at higher learning institutions, or you also do lower levels?
Okay, so the Girl Up Club started from the ages of 13.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, that is when the foundation of a girl child really does begin, in my opinion, and of course, according to the pillars of the campaign. So, we try to get them to have those values at that age, because that is a time where they can start to understand what it is that they want from life in terms of empowering them with having an understanding of, especially in the cases of GBV, they can have an understanding of what is right and what is wrong. They can be able to discern if one of their family relatives is being inappropriate, what exactly is going on, and to be able to stand up for themselves and say, no, this is wrong and this will not happen. So yes, from the ages of 13 upwards.
Okay. And what do you do? You've mentioned pillars. Probably you want to expand on the pillars. Yeah.
Okay, so there's sport for purpose, there's gender-based violence, there's also gender-based violence, sport for purpose. Okay, I would actually like to speak more about Generation Equality Forum, which is what we are a part of, because that's what we're really focusing on this year. And one of the pillars is bodily autonomy and sexual and reproductive health. So why that is important is because many countries in June gathered and they committed to different things, decided to go underneath the umbrella of the campaign and advocate for bodily autonomy and sexual and reproductive health, which is one of the things that in Tanzania lacks. We do not have adequate sexual health or sexual or reproductive health systems, and the hospitals lack the, let me not say lack, but there is a need to have more access to especially information and to increase the amount of choices that they have to sort of decide for themselves what route they want to take in terms of their reproductive health. And yes.
And by that, what exactly do you mean? The routes to take to decide in terms of the sexual reproductive health. What exactly do you mean?
I am an advocate for period poverty, and majority of Tanzanians in rural areas, Tanzanian girls in rural areas, periods, menstruation is a stigmatized topic, and it is also a form of gender-based violence. So because girls do not have the adequate access to their menstrual cycle support systems, which are pads, as an advocate for gender climate justice, I do not believe that using single-use pads is a sustainable way and something that they can use over time, So I am in support of using reusable pads and creating opportunities for girls in rural areas so that they can use those reusable pads to support their menstruation, which is actually one of the reasons why a lot of the girls in the rural areas cannot attend school, because they don't have those materials. And that is the reason why, as a result, there's gender inequality and there's stigma around girls attending school. Yes.
Okay. Malkis, Malkiz, Ndoto Mpya Tanzania.
Yes.
How wide? What is your coverage in Tanzania?
Okay.
Yeah, in terms of, do you cover the whole country? Do you cover only some regions or some districts only?
Okay. The Tompia has to go all over the country, you know, because a lot has been is actually going on happening all over.
Mm-hmm.
So, but as for now, we've picked a few regions to start with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then
Which are?
Mara,
Mm-hmm.
Tabora, Zanzibar, you know, and this one. It's Musoma.
Musoma.
Yes.
Okay.
Musoma.
All right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So those are the regions that we have actually picked so far, because a lot GBV is way too much there in these
areas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the choice, other than just saying a lot, what are some of the signs so that the people who are watching through the Monday agenda would probably want to support the interventions you do? So what are some of these signs?
The goal is to make sure that we impart knowledge to these children, starting from primary, secondary, and university. And actually, the plan is to have leaders in this specific the schools and the university and the community in general. We have leaders. Let's say I go to Tabora, okay, and I conduct seminars there. So I would make sure that, because the branches, the main base is in Dar es Salaam. So if I go there, then I'll have to have advocates who are actually from the Tombe. Let's say, so I'll use the head girls, the religious leaders, and the community in general, to make sure that even if the Tombe is not in Tabora, but what we have done is still being followed by other people. So
This is the Monday agenda, and the Monday agenda today is talking to wonderful young girls who are promoting gender-based. They're promoting campaigns. They're doing campaigns and advocacy against gender-based violence here in Tanzania. And as young as they are, they're doing great, marvelous things. And I really am personally looking on to a very brighter future, especially for a girl child in Tanzania. And with me is Beatrice, Janet, Delecia, and Malkiz, who are we're discussing on the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And just to pick up currently, Tanzania has decided as a country to bring back girls who conceived when they were in school to go back into the mainstream. I think this is very commendable to the 6th regime under Our Excellency Samia Suluhu. I recall us saying, or the minister saying that, as a parent, I think it's a great opportunity for a girl child to get back into the mainstream. However, people would always question, doubt, how is this, how is that? What are your takes? To start with you, Malkiz, what is your take in terms of the whole bringing back girls to school?
Yeah, first I would actually congratulate the president. Yeah. Secondly, it has actually empowered me as well, because I personally, I like talking about myself because a lot has been happening. So I felt the need to drop out from school because of what happened.
You personally felt the need?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I didn't know what was going on. It was very confusing. So to a girl child that has actually been pregnant at a very young age, feels like they cannot go back and do right. So it's actually empowering. The person has done us. I feel like going back to school again.
Oh, wow.
Because I feel like whatever has been going on is not just about me. The trauma is not me. The depression is not me. So to say to the girl child that feel like they just can't go back to school because their life is over. So to me, that's a very good thing.
Okay. Yeah, excellent.
I think that in life there are a lot of choices that people can consciously make, and there are a lot of choices that people don't have the choice. And education in this society and as a whole in the world is a weapon to defend yourself against regime and expectations of life. And taking that right, that should be a basic principle of upbringing and living, should not be something that should ever be constitutional. So I do believe that having an education, regardless of whether you are pregnant or not, there is still that turnaround. And there are a lot of examples of famous people who have really changed their lives and changed every single person in this room's world because of their ideas as a result of having the backbone of education. So yes, I do believe that not only is it fair, it is just and it is right, and it should be constitutional.
Oh wow. Powerful.
First, we appreciate the system, we appreciate our president, and also we appreciate the minister who announced the act. But what I want to say is, as a human being, we make a mistake. As a young girls, they did. Also, we believe that they passed a lot of challenges. That's why most of them they raped, and a lot of things they passed through. So we really appreciate them to get back to school, at their right to get the education, and this will help us as a community to increase dependence. As you know that when the girl child gets pregnant in the early age, she still depends to their parents, their community. So this will help to increase dependence in our communities and the nation at large. So we really appreciate, and what we're supposed to do is to continue eliminating their parents, to see this is happened, and they're supposed to send back their children to school, what happened. Because this sometimes they will come with different note from their parents. Other they really appreciate when their children get pregnant at early age. They trust them as other they seem as a source of income. When they get pregnant, they supposed to get married. They get a source of resources, a lot of resources. But what we really appreciate our government to appreciate the system of allowing them to get back to school. As a Bint Makani Foundation, as advocates of girls' rights, we really appreciate and we thanks for this opportunity for girls to get back to school. We really appreciate it.
All right. Yes, Beatrice, I would like to hear from you as well. Yeah.
Well, what more can I say? They've said everything. But the most important thing is to congratulate the president, Mheshimiwa Samia Suluhu Hassan, because she has done well. She has given girls hope that if you get pregnant, you can still go back to school. But at the same time, we need to make sure that we teach these young girls, we teach these young boys that when is the right time to get pregnant.
And how.
And how.
And
because
not how they get pregnant.
No.
How do we teach them?
How do we teach?
Yes, because the risk that we bear as adults when it comes to sexual education, sexual health and sexual health education is the fact that it could be an eye-opener. So there are safe days and unsafe days.
Yes.
So I can do this in safe days. You know, and vis-a-vis actually getting them not to engage in sexual practices at early ages. The risk, you know, pregnancy is not the only risk.
Yes.
What about STDs? You
Correct.
know, so I really want to pick from all of you the how do we then make sure that this does not repeat, because the disadvantage, and I stand to be corrected, yeah, they say journalists are never wrong, but I stand to be corrected here. The disadvantage to bringing back the girl who just gave birth into the mainstream are the chances that she can get another pregnancy in school.
Okay.
So how do we make sure that they learn that they shouldn't engage? This is open question to any of you.
Well, of course, there are pros and cons.
Yeah.
But on the positive side, when what the president has done is very good, very, very good.
I like the way you said it. She's given hope.
Yeah,
It's
she's given
a very
hope.
powerful word.
Yeah, she's given hope to these young people. But then again, as I said, we need to educate them not to get pregnant so that they go back to school when they've given birth. You see, they have to know that this is not the right time to get pregnant. How do we do this? We can do this by, you see, the way we were raised. Let's say, for example, me, the way I was raised with my parents is I shouldn't engage in sexual acts until I am at a certain age, 18 and above, because what I was taught is that when you're 18, you're an adult. Now you can think on your own. But then again, even your decisions then should be right. So I think it starts from the parents, because the kids do not know, they do not understand. For example, when you get into your teenagehood, when you get into adolescence, of course, your emotions are high. You want to do a lot of things. So you end up pregnant, not knowing whether it's right or wrong. So who is supposed to tell you what is right, what is wrong? It used to be taboo for parents to tell their children that sex is bad or sex is good at this time. So right now, parents should be open to their children to tell them that this is right, this is wrong. Because at the end of the day, going back to what we are talking about, gender-based violence, it also helps the children, again, what I said, to speak out when something happens to them, when they are close to their parents. So let's go now to their parents. If the children don't have parents, the elders, the people who are taking care of them, should be talking to them about what's the right time, what should you do. Be open. Let them be able to speak to you so that you can be able to tell them that this is the right time to get pregnant or not. So
Can
that
you
we
as a parent tell your daughter that or your son that?
I think I am not a parent yet, but I think from how I was raised, because I was also a rebel when I was a teenager. I could have easily gotten pregnant, but there's a way my parents were telling me that this is not the right time. They were very strict on me on that side. So I knew this is wrong. I can have a boyfriend, but if I do this, it's wrong, because I've been told by my parents. So I'm not a parent yet, but the way I was taught by my parents, this is wrong. It's not the right time because of the way I was taught. So I think this is what should be taught to children, because right now, even the children are not the same as us. You see, maybe they are not the same. They are nurtured differently, even from the type of foods they're eating, from what they're watching. Everything is different. So I can't put blame, of course, on the parents so much, but they have to be close to the children so that they understand what they are going through. They understand if they are dating. They understand who are you seeing, so that they tell them, hey, you can do that, but don't do this. It's wrong until you're this age. Right now, concentrate on this, but you can be friends with this. If you want to see them, let them come to our house. Let them come home, you enjoy. You see, let them have freedom so that they can be able not to have children at that point. You see, so that's what I understand.
No. One of the challenges that we face. I have a teenager myself. I'm grateful to God. She's 13. But one of the challenges we face as parents, irrespective of how, first we are very busy looking onto ensuring that they have fees, they have clothes, they have food on the table, etc. They have the subscription for TV, etc., and so many other things. So we hardly have time with our children. So we let them be raised by TV, by nannies, by aunties and uncles and friends in school. So this is one person who is super duper busy vis-a-vis the world raising that child. Okay, I really want to believe that you can actually tell a child, this is a mark, that this is, you're ready, you're not ready. But I really want to help a fellow parent who's probably struggling as much as most parents do in raising children in today's time.
I think
era.
also the teachers if the parents are too busy, they also need to understand you have a child. You need to understand your child. No matter how busy you are, you're the one who brought them to the world. But at the same time,
Yes.
even the teachers, you need to understand the type of school you're taking your children to, the type of teachers they're interacting with, what they are telling their children. Your children, you have to understand what is it that my child is getting into their minds through the teachers. You need to understand everything because this is the child you wish to be a leader in future.
Monday
My thinking.
agenda, excellent thinking. Monday, you're going to make a fabulous mother. Monday agenda is coming to really an end.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give each one of us 1 minute of fame to just say that one message in relation to what we've been discussing for the past 45 minutes as we commemorate. I do not know if commemoration is the right word, or as we observe the 16 days of activism.
I would like to say that the issue of ending gender-based violence is not the work of activists, leaders, but we're supposed to catch it as the work of everyone in our societies. But on the issue of the getting back of pregnant to school, pregnant girls to school, I would like to advise the government to employ social workers to our schools so that they can advise. We don't trust the teachers anymore, so we want someone else to advise them, to tell them the truth, and I think we can end gender-based violence.
You don't trust teachers anymore.
Yes.
Okay.
She doesn't trust anyone.
You know, they don't trust you, that's why they give you exams as well. Jokes. All right.
I agree with her in terms of social workers because I feel like in Tanzania especially, there is no infrastructure in terms of someone that's in a formal institution from a young age in the school, especially public schools, that can really advise and sort of be the person where they can go for knowledge, not culture or any influence that are societal. So I do agree with the fact that we need social workers in the system.
Malkis?
Okay, so I'll stand to the survivors because I think my beautiful friends here have said a lot about schools, early and all that. I'll stand to the survivors. Survivors need to speak up. They really need to, because the children we are trying to impart knowledge to about GBV. They need people to look as their role model so that they understand that, okay, there are people who have probably discussed or have gone through this, but they're still doing it right. So I'll just call out for survivors, anybody who has, who also feels like a victim, they should just come out and speak about it.
The 16 days of activism started on the 25th of November to the 10th of December were dubbed this year Orange the World and End GBV. And I concur with this wonderful deliberation, wonderful discussion we've had today, wonderful input. And I look at you as the future, the very near future of Tanzania and the future of Africa. The efforts, I always tell people, if you want a better tomorrow, then you prepare today. And with all our efforts combined, then we are certainly going to end GBV in our families, in our societies, in our streets, in our societies, in our townships, in our country, and eventually in our continent and in the world at large. Let's join hands, let's put hands together so that in a very near future, GBV is never a topic anymore, but history. I really would like to take this opportunity to once again thank you so much for coming into the Monday Agenda, and I wish you all the very best in all your endeavors, and let's end GBV.
Yay!
I'm your host, Austin Makani, and thank you for watching the Monday Agenda. Stay tuned.